Bruce's heart ached when he saw Joanna's current state and pulled her tightly into his arms. Joanne, I know I've hurt you in the past. I'll slowly make up for it in the future. Under the effects of the drug, Joanna's emotions stabilized. She didn't need Bruce to make any amends. Some things could never be undone. Joanna coldly withdrew from Bruce's embrace and asked disdainfully, Mr. Everett, why do you like barging into the female washroom so much? The word stuck in Bruce's throat as he studied Joanna's expression suspiciously. She looked like she was on the verge of collapse and was even hurting herself. It made one's heart ache to look at her. However, she had returned to her previous aggressive self in the blink of an eye. Joanna, are you all right? Joanna regained her composure and looked back at Bruce calmly. Mr. Everett, that's a strange question to ask. I should be the one asking if you are all right. If you keep barging into the ladies' room like this, you'll be arrested as a lunatic. Bruce pursed his lips and pointed at the ball of hair on the ground. You were hurting yourself just now. Do you know that? It's just hair. So what if it falls off? It's not like it won't grow back. Bruce was even more shocked when he heard this. Don't you feel pain tearing off so much hair? I have an itchy scalp and like to pull my hair. Is there a problem? Joanna crossed her arms and stared back at Bruce. Bruce's eyes flickered. He vaguely felt that something was amiss. But looking at Joanna's reaction, he did not want to agitate her further. All right. You win. I can't win an argument against you. Ads by Pub Future. By the way, clean out an office for me. What for? I'm coming to work for the Haynes Group from now on. Joanna did not say anything. She subconsciously let go of her crossed arms when she heard this and looked at Bruce in confusion. You are coming to work for the Haynes Group. Bruce shrugged slightly. Yes, is there a problem? Speechless, Joanna snorted. Mr. Everett, can you stop fooling around? The Everett Group was the leading company of Greenport, with billion-dollar assets. There were already so many things that he had to handle with his own company, so why would Bruce come to work for the Haynes Group? I'm serious. In the future, I'll take some time off and come here to work. Chapter 71. Joanna's face darkened. Bruce, what are you trying to do? Bruce smiled and answered solemnly, leave Jaden and become my woman. Did I hear wrongly? You are about to be engaged to Roxanne. Don't you think you are going overboard? It's true I am getting engaged. So, will you be my lover? To think that you are shameless enough to say that. Bruce exhaled and looked at Joanna with a faint smile. I won't allow you to date other men from today onwards. You can only be my woman in this lifetime. Crazy bastard. Joanna could not be bothered to waste her breath on him and turned around to leave. Bruce took 2 steps forward and grabbed her arm. He asked a question that brought up the past. Joanna, who is the children's father? You dare not let the children do a paternity test because they are mine, am I right? Joanna frowned and pushed Bruce away angrily. I already said my children have nothing to do with you. Since the children have nothing to do with me, why are you afraid I'll take them for a paternity test? You're strange, Mr. Everett. Why should my children do a paternity test with you? Stop dreaming. My children have nothing to do with you. Bruce shrugged nonchalantly when he heard this. All right, if you say so. Now, I'm solemnly telling you that I will no longer ask about the past. From today onwards, you're my woman. You can't date other men, let alone let them touch your body. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Joanna was so angry that she laughed. Why should I listen to you? Because you're relying on me now. I don't need to rely on you. All right then. I'll call the president of the Stark Group now and tell him to rescind his contract with the Haynes Group. Bruce, don't go overboard. Joanna could no longer suppress the fury in her heart. Her chest hurt from anger, and she could not help but hit Bruce's arms a few times. He really knew how to drive her crazy. Bruce grabbed her arm and forced her into a corner. If you hit me again, I'll take you right here. You lunatic. Bruce laughed mockingly. You'll have to leave Greenport forever if you wish to be rid of me completely. You'll have no choice but to be my woman if you want to continue living in Greenport. Fine. I'll be your woman. But what about Roxanne? Chapter 71. Bruce paused and pondered for a few seconds. She will be my wife, and you will be my lover. Is there a problem? Do you think Roxanne will agree? Bruce smiled slyly. It doesn't matter if she agrees or not. It's done as long as you agree. He was already reluctant to give Roxanne the status of his wife. Roxanne would have to agree even if she didn't want to. Never. I'll never agree even if you kill me. It doesn't matter whether you agree or not. I'll make you agree. After speaking, Bruce left the conference room and headed straight for Joanna's office. Seeing this, Joanna became even more exasperated. Stop right there. Where are you going? What are you going to do? Bruce pushed open Joanna's office door and strode in. Since you are unwilling to find an office for me, I'll reluctantly share yours. After Bruce finished speaking, he sat on Joanna's office chair and placed his long legs on her desk. He looked like a dove occupying a magpie's nest. Joanna was so angry that she was close to vomiting blood. Bruce, are you crazy? Get up. With that, Joanna tried her best to push Bruce off the chair. But Bruce grabbed her arm and suddenly dragged Joanna toward him as she screamed. Joanna's entire body fell into Bruce's arms. Bruce hugged her tightly and kissed her cheek suggestively. Are you so eager to throw yourself at me? Don't worry, I'll satisfy you every week from now on. Joanna choked when she heard this. Her lungs almost exploded from her anger as she struggled to stand up. You're crazy. Let go of me. Meanwhile, outside the office. TSK, TSK, TSK. Miss Haynes and Mr. Everett were in the conference room for a long while. And now, they're alone in her office for so long. Do you think they'll rekindle their relationship? Definitely. Mr. Everett beat David up at the cocktail party because he was jealous. After that, he took Miss Haynes away with him. You can imagine what happened next. A female employee said in surprise, Gosh, isn't Mr. Everett engaged to Miss Roxanne? And yet, he's entangled with Miss Haynes now. Don't tell me that the two sisters and Mr. Everett. A female employee in her 40s chimed in. What's so strange about that? Polygamy exists. Two sisters sharing the same husband. Gosh, the wealthy have such complicated relationships. Who cares? We only have to do our job and get paid. That's true. In the meantime, Sean had returned home to the Haynes' house, his face red as a pig's liver from anger. Ads by Pub Future. Dad, why are you back so early? Roxanne and Ingrid, who were flipping through wedding dress designs, asked. They were shocked to see Sean home so early. Sean took a few deep breaths and cursed, I'm so angry, I'm so angry. Sean, why are you so angry? Chapter 72. What else could it be? It's all because of my unfilial daughter. When Ingrid heard this, she darted her eyes in thought and quickly realized he was talking about Joanna. What's wrong with Joanna? Sean sighed repeatedly. It's not her, it's Mr. Everett. Mr. Everett. Ingrid and Roxanne's eyes widened in shock. He was also at the board meeting today. That rebellious daughter of mine was initially unable to hold out any longer and was prepared to step down from the position of chairwoman. But at that critical moment. Sigh. What happened at the critical moment? Sean answered with a melancholic expression. Out of nowhere, Mr. Everett took out a contract between the Haynes Group and the Stark Group. Who would have thought that the Everett Group and the Stark Group have a history of working exclusively with one another? If not for Mr. Everett pressurizing them, the Stark Group would never have cooperated with the Haynes Group. What? Ingrid and Roxanne looked at each other in disbelief. Roxy, I don't want to criticize you, but you are already engaged to Mr. Everett. Why don't you talk some sense into him? Get him to stop siding with outsiders. Ingrid was instantly enraged when she heard this. HMPH. There's no doubt that little by TCH Joanna racked her brains trying to seduce Mr. Everett again. Roxanne was very displeased when she heard this. Although Bruce had proposed to her, he had not called her in the past few days. Nor could she find him too. She had already heard about what happened at the cocktail party and initially wanted to call Bruce and get him to explain the situation. Unfortunately, Bruce had flown to Malta and had been there for the past 2 days, so she could not get through to him on his phone. She did not expect Bruce to be entangled with Joanna again as soon as he returned. I've already said I'll sever my father-daughter relationship with her. She's the jinx of our family. Don't even think about living a peaceful life with her around. Sean looked worried and sighed. Mr. Everett. Don't tell me, him and Joanne, again. Why not? Which man doesn't cheat? The key is that he wouldn't do it if it went against his interests. So why does he continue to be entangled with Joanna? It's all because of that daughter of yours. She's jealous that Roxy is marrying into the Everett family and is wreaking havoc behind our backs. Just as they were talking, Roxanne's phone rang. She took out her phone and saw that Gavin had sent her a photo from the internet. The background in the photo showed that it was the airport, and Bruce was publicly hugging and kissing Joanna passionately in it. The scene of them had been captured on camera by someone and posted online. Roxanne was stunned upon seeing the photo. Her body felt like it had fallen into an ice cave. Chapter 72. What is it? Show Mel. Ingrid snatched the phone away from Roxanne. After seeing the photo, Ingrid felt like her lungs were about to explode from anger. Sean, look at what your good daughter has done. This news is all over the internet. Mr. Everett and Miss Haynes were spotted kissing at the airport. Sean's blood pressure soared from anger when he saw the headlines. See, what did I say? That SLU'd Joanna won't give up so easily. Roxy, I don't want to scold you, but why can't you control your boyfriend? When she heard this, Roxanne was so angry that she cried. How can I control him? You're useless. Photos of Bruce and Joanna kissing passionately at the airport soon became the top story. In an instant, the internet was in an uproar. Online, Andy also hurriedly found Bruce and reported, Mr. Everett, the news released online will have a huge impact on the Everett group's image. Bruce frowned. Go and suppress it. Don't make a big deal out of it. Got it. Andy immediately went to find the lawyer and told him to send a lawyer's letter to the website that had forwarded the photo. However, news travels fast on the internet. In just one day, the entire internet knew about it. The next day, Roxanne charged into Bruce's office. Bruce, how do you explain the photo? Bruce remained expressionless and silent for over a minute as he looked at the photo. There's nothing to explain. What you see is the truth. Roxanne was stunned. Tears instantly flowed down her face. She never expected Bruce to admit it without even bothering to give her a superficial explanation. Bruce, how could you do this? We're about to get married. How could you? Bruce's hawk-like eyes looked at Roxanne coldly. So, are you still willing to marry me? If you're willing, I'll hold the wedding as scheduled. If you are unwilling, the wedding can be cancelled anytime. Roxanne took a deep breath as tears streamed down her face. However, it had not been easy for Roxanne to reach the step in her relationship with Bruce, and she was unwilling to give up just then. Her wish was to marry Bruce and into the Everett family. As long as Bruce could give her the status of Mrs. Everett, she had no choice but to silently accept his infidelity, even if he went out with other women every day. Bruce, that's not what I meant. What I meant is that you and Joanna have a history. And we're biological sisters, after all. If word gets out, it won't be good for Joanna, you, or me. Bruce, I know you are under a lot of pressure and need somewhere to vent, but can you not do it with Joanna? After saying that, Roxanne looked pleadingly toward Bruce with tears in her eyes. The meaning behind Roxanne's words was evident. Bruce could seek the company of another woman, but that woman could not be Joanna. Even gold diggers were preferable to Joanna, who would threaten her status. When Bruce heard this, he raised his eyebrows and looked back at Roxanne expressionlessly. Her words made him feel extremely uncomfortable. If a woman loved a man, would she compromise and allow him to have other women? Roxanne probably only loved his status and not him as a person. Is there a difference? Bruce gave a strange smile. Roxanne was stunned for a moment before deciding to go all out. Bruce, I can do whatever Joanna can. I understand. I was too conservative in the past, so you no longer harbor certain thoughts toward me. But I just didn't want to hand myself over so easily. I didn't want you to think I was easy. But Bruce, we're about to get married. I don't want to stay chaste any longer. Ads by Pub Future. Roxanne began taking off her outerwear as she spoke. Then, she threw herself into Bruce's arms and hugged his neck tightly. Bruce, I love you. I can't live without you. Whatever Joanna can give you, I can too. Don't look for Joanna anymore. If you have needs, you can look for me anytime. We've been in love for 6 years. What else can't we do? After saying that, Roxanne deliberately pretended to be shy and trembled as she kissed Bruce's lips. At the same time, her soft petite hands began unbuckling his belt. Bruce frowned slightly but did not react, allowing Roxanne to continue exploring his body. Bruce, I love you. Take me today. No matter what, Roxanne was determined to become Bruce's woman today. She had already made sufficient preparations. Before coming to meet him, she had washed her body clean and soaked in fragrances. All she needed to do later was act inexperienced, and Bruce would think that it was her first time. Chapter 73. She was confident he would be in her grasp as long as he believed she gave him her first time. However, Bruce's frown deepened as Roxanne became increasingly proactive in her advances. Even though Roxanne appeared clumsy, the places where she would inadvertently graze past were always a man's most sensitive parts. She was also very good at kissing. These were not things that an inexperienced woman would know how to do. However, the more she acted like this, the less interested Bruce became. It was man's nature to hunt and chase. The prey that delivered itself to his mouth did not taste as good. Roxy, stop. Bruce, I love you. Don't hold back anymore. Roxanne's lips were soft, and the perfume on her body was fragrant. In an instant, she had already unbuttoned Bruce's clothes. Her seduction was about to work when Bruce suddenly pushed her away. Roxy, don't be like this. Roxanne was stunned. With tears in her eyes, she looked at Bruce. Bruce, don't you want me? Don't you love me anymore? He clearly wanted her in the past. However, her mother had taught her not to easily give her first time to men. Therefore, Roxanne pretended to be innocent and always maintained a pure, untainted appearance. Before Bruce. Gradually, Bruce became less impulsive in his advances toward her. We'll talk about this when we get married. With that, Bruce tidied Roxanne's clothes around her. Then, he pushed her away and walked out of the office. Roxanne was embarrassed and angry and chased after him anxiously. Bruce, where are you going? I have an appointment with some clients. I have to meet them now. You should go back first. Bruce. Roxanne shouted from behind him but could only stop to tidy herself as she was not fully dressed. Meanwhile, Bruce had already strode out of the office. Now, he was bored of Roxanne. In the past, he thought she was naive and innocent and found it interesting to coax her. But now, he found it annoying. Bruce got into the car. The chauffeur asked respectfully, Mr. Everett, where are you going? Bruce thought for a moment. At this moment, he inexplicably wanted to see Joanna. Go to the Haynes Group. Yes, Mr. Everett. Half an hour later, the chauffeur stopped the car in the underground garage of the Haynes Group. Bruce exited the car and took the elevator to the office. Chapter 73. As it was 10 in the morning, everyone in the company, including Joanna, was busy. Hello, Mr. Everett. The employees greeted him respectfully. Bruce nodded slightly and walked straight to Joanna's office. Send gift. Comment. Gosh, Mr. Everett is here again. That's right. Mr. Everett has been coming here every 2 to 3 days recently. In the past, it would be rare if he even visited once a year. Hey, do you think Mr. Everett intends to remarry Miss Haynes? That's hard to say. I heard that Miss Haynes gave birth to triplets, not twins. The children's father is probably Mr. Everett. Wow, if Miss Haynes' children are Mr. Everett's, why is she still working so hard? She's set for life. Really, isn't Miss Haynes' children Mr. Grimm's? That's right, isn't Miss Haynes' boyfriend Mr. Grimm? Well, no one knows the details. The relationships between the wealthy are complicated. Ordinary people like us can't figure them out. Stop talking. Cora is here. The employees quickly returned to their duties and did not dare continue gossiping. Meanwhile, Joanna was busy dealing with the contract in the office. Although she had signed a contract with the Stark Group, there were still many small details in the contract that she had yet to figure out. Knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Please come in. Joanna thought that Cora was here to deliver the coffee. Bruce pushed open the door and walked in. Joanna didn't even raise her head. Leave it there. Cora would bring in a cup of strong coffee every 2 hours during office hours. Coincidentally, she had just finished a cup of coffee, so she thought Cora had brought the next cup in. Bruce did not say anything and quietly walked to the table. He just placed his hand on the desk and looked at Joanna amorously. Ads by Pub Future. Joanna finally realized that something was amiss half a minute later. When she looked up, she realized Bruce had entered her office. Joanna immediately frowned and said in an unfriendly tone, "Mr. Everett, why are you here again? This bastard had pestered her in the office for half a day yesterday. If Cora hadn't come in, he would have forced himself on her again." Bruce smiled teasingly. He raised his eyebrows slightly and leaned his face closer to hers. "Is there a problem? I've already told you that I'll come to work occasionally. I'll also inspect your work efficiency when I'm here." Joanna felt her chest hurt from anger when she heard this. She was the chairwoman of the Haynes Group, the company's leader. What right did he have to inspect her work efficiency? Chapter 74. You're really annoying. Bruce walked over and lifted her chin slightly. "Babe, what are you busy with?" Cough, cough. Joanna almost spat out a mouthful of blood. She didn't expect Bruce to have such a sleazy side. She felt like retching. "It's none of your business. Please watch your words. Don't misuse them. Hey, I'm also the company's chairman. Don't I have the right to ask about company matters? Mr. Everett, you own a big business and have a bunch of elites from all over the world working under you and earning money for you. Of course, you needn't busy yourself. But please don't disrupt other people's work. Now get out of here." Struck by how adorable Joanna sounded when she was serious, Bruce's lips curled into a smile. Why would this silly woman need to work so hard if she just agreed to be with him? She was making life difficult for herself. All right, I won't disrupt you. Continue doing what you were doing." Bruce sat down on the sofa opposite Joanna as he spoke and stared at her with an ambiguous and mischievous smile. Joanna, who had initially returned to focusing on her work, felt her body prickling now that he was staring at her. It was challenging to concentrate when she felt extremely uncomfortable. "Mr. Everett, it's strange for you to stare at me like that. I have no choice. I don't have an office, so I must share one with you. Now hurry up and get back to work. Don't disrupt me from working." Joanna's eyes widened. She couldn't believe her ears. "Mr. Everett, are you being serious? I'm disrupting your work." Bruce shrugged innocently. "That's right. My job is to supervise you. You are disrupting my work if you're not working hard." Joanna's eyes, wide from shock just now, instantly narrowed into a glare. This MN bastard. No wonder he could dominate the industry. His craftiness and twisted logic were unmatched. Joanna suppressed the anger in her heart and called the secretarial desk. "Cora, Miss Haynes, what are your orders?" "Clean out an office for Mr. Everett immediately. In the future, when Mr. Everett comes over, let him go to his office." "Yes, Miss Haynes." After hanging up, Joanna was still furious and so decided to turn off the computer. Bruce did not think much of it. He liked to see Joanna's reactions when she was angry. "Babe, what are we having for lunch?" Chapter 74. Bruce, stop fooling around. I'm working now. You have to get to work. I'll have the company's staff meal. Now leave me alone. Why don't we go out and eat together? I'm sorry, I'm not free. Bruce smiled ambiguously. All right. I'll eat the company's staff meal with you, all right. Soon, it was noon and time for lunch. The employees were given an hour and a half to eat and rest. Joanna could not be bothered with Bruce. She went to the staff canteen and had the staff meal like the employees. Many of the employees were queuing up to get food in the canteen. Joanna took a stainless steel plate from the disinfection cabinet. She then went to the kitchen window, ordered a staff meal, sat in the staff canteen, and ate. Joanna knew Bruce was a picky eater and would not catch staff meals. As expected, Bruce did not eat and just sat beside Joanna and watched her eat. Joanna used the stainless steel spoon and mixed the dishes on her plate. Then, she ate the concoction, one spoonful at a time. Bruce frowned, his face full of disdain and shock. To him, this was no different from feeding pigs. How could a human use stainless steel cutlery? The usually lively staff canteen was exceptionally quiet today. Because with Joanna and Bruce around, no one dared to eat there. Is it good? Joanna rolled her eyes. She could not be bothered with Bruce. She wasn't as fussy as him and didn't pick on her food. To her, the purpose of eating was to fill one's stomach. After hurriedly finishing her meal, Joanna went to make another cup of coffee. She then added 4 sugar cubes and 2 milk capsules to her coffee. Bruce frowned even more when he saw this. Don't tell me that this is fit for human consumption. Joanna rolled her eyes coldly. She held the cup and swayed it tauntingly in front of Bruce. Then, she drank a few mouthfuls of coffee. Appalled, Bruce subconsciously gulped. His obsessive-compulsive disorder and mysophobia would not allow him to accept such a diet. Aren't you afraid of getting fat after adding so much sugar and milk? This is very unhealthy. So, Bruce was stunned. Joanna did not drink coffee in the past. After all, coffee contains caffeine that stimulates the nerves. Even if she had coffee occasionally, she would only drink the best Blue Mountain coffee and not add sugar or milk. The large amounts of milk and sugar she added now were very unhealthy. However, Joanna's depression was getting worse. She also had hypoglycemia and malnutrition. Therefore, she did not like bitter things. In addition, sugar and milk could stimulate dopamine secretion, which induces the feeling of happiness. You can't eat like this anymore. You have to change your eating habits. Chapter 75. I remember that you used to have a very healthy diet. Why are you so negligent now? Mr. Everett, don't you think you are being too nosy? Only Goldie knew how she had survived the 4 years since her divorce from Bruce. However, it was for the better. At least it had cured her of her past fussiness and cowardice. You can't let this candy of junk food enter your body. You can't drink this anymore, Bruce said and tried to snatch the cup from Joanna's hands. Joanna ignored him and finished her cup of coffee. Mr. Everett, I am going back to work. Your office is also ready if you want to work at the Haynes Group. Please go to your own office in the future. Buzz buzz. Joanna was about to leave when her phone rang. She took out her phone and saw that it was Jaden calling. Jaden had called her dozens of times over the past few days, but she had not answered his calls. That was because she did not know how to explain the situation to him, let alone face him. Seeing Joanna's hesitation, Bruce's face darkened. Who called? Joanna returned to her senses and put her phone back in her pocket. What does it have to do with you? Give me the phone. Bruce reached out to grab Joanna's phone. Joanna panicked and grabbed her phone tightly, refusing to give it to him. You're crazy. Let go. However, the more AR refused to give her phone to him, the more frustrated Bruce became. He harshly snatched the phone away and immediately knew it was Jaden calling when he saw that the caller ID was Jai. Bruce answered the call without hesitation. Hello, is this Jaden? On the other end of the phone, Jaden was stunned. He also recognized Bruce's voice. Why is it you? Where's Joanne? Bruce sneered. Joanna is with me. Don't call her again. Unable to figure out what was happening, Jaden was speechless. Joanna will be my woman from on. If you dare harass her again, I won't stay polite. Anxious, Joanna jumped up to snatch the phone back from Bruce. Bruce, that's enough. Give me the phone. Asterisk. Joanne, did something happen? Where are you now? I'll go look for you now. Before Jaden could finish his sentence, Bruce hung up. Ads by Pub Future. Bruce, are you done fooling around? What are you trying to do? I've already said that you can only be my woman from now on. You can't date any other man. Break up with Jaden. Why should I listen to you? You know the consequences if you don't listen to me. Ha, you still want to kill me. Chapter 75. Are you kidding me? We're in a society governed by law. How can I just go around killing people? But those who dare get too close to you will pay a price painf than death. Joanna almost broke down when she heard that. Crazy bastard. Can you stop acting like this? We're already divorced. There's no possibility between us. I beg you to stop harassing me. Bruce sneered. Impossible. As long as you're in Greyport, I won't let you off. You are my woman. Whoever dares to have designs on you is intentionally going against me. If you don't want anything to happen to Jaden, you'd better keep a good distance from him. If I find out that you're secretly interacting with him, you know what I'm like, Joanna. Joanna could not help but gasp for breath when she heard this. With bloodshot eyes, she looked at Bruce in hatred and helplessness. Joanna was aware of Bruce's personality. Whatever Bruce wanted, he got. If he wanted to harm Jaden, then Jaden would be in danger. Moreover, Bruce's methods were sinister and vicious. Jaden would be secretly resolved without anyone knowing if Bruce took action. He was impossible to guard against. Bruce, I am begging you. Can you not be like this? Bruce took a step forward and held her chin in his palm. Joanna, I am warning you for the last time. Be my lover, and I'll treat you well. Other than a marriage license, you'll have everything else. Why are you still dissatisfied with being my woman? Joanna laughed coldly. HMPH. Bruce, haven't you always hated me? Haven't you always thought that I was scheming? What do you mean by pestering me like this? Bruce smiled slyly. I don't mean anything. I just like sleeping with you. Let go of me. If you keep doing this, I'll call the police. Go ahead and call the police. Let everyone in Greenport know that you're my woman. You lunatic, let go. Meanwhile, Ingrid had barged angrily into the company's lobby. That bitch Joanna, where is she? Mrs. Haynes, you are in a company. Hurry up and get Joanna out here. That damn shameless bitch. She seduces men all day long. Of all people, why does she have to seduce her sister's man? Ingrid had specially made the trip down to the Haynes group to stand up for her daughter, Roxanne. She had long borne a hatred for Joanna. Now that Joanna and Bruce were entangled again, it threatened Roxanne's status. Ingrid would not tolerate this. Damn NBTCH, get out here. Everyone, come look at Greenport's most shameless woman. She specializes in seducing her sisters. Man, who do you think you are? You are a one of a kind by TCH. A piece of trash. You're desperate to let at. Man. Ingrid began cursing loudly as soon as she stepped into the company building. All sorts of vulgarities filled the air. Accompanying behind her were 4 middle-aged women who were also dressed fashionably. Hurry up and get out here. Joanna is a professional mistress who specializes in sleeping with men. Get out here and tell us how many men you slept with. You're so shameless. How dare you stay in Greenport? In ancient times, women like you would be whipped and paraded through the streets. Like Ingrid, these middle-aged women also gained wealth and status by fishing for men in their youth. Therefore, it was natural that they didn't care about manners. All kinds of insults spewed out from their mouths whenever they scolded people. The employees on the first floor were all alarmed. Everyone came out to watch the spectacle. Mrs. Haynes is here. Gosh, she's making such an unpleasant scene. That's right. How uncivilized of her. Why can't they talk behind closed doors? Why make a scene in public when there are ads by Pub Future Family? An old employee smiled faintly. This is how Mrs. Haynes always acts. She cries, throws tantrums in public, and threatens to kill herself when things don't go her way. Now that Miss Haynes is entangled with Mr. Everett, she must be here to stand up for her daughter. Hey, stop talking. Just watch the show quietly. Cora and Luna quickly went forward to stop Ingrid. Mrs. Haynes, this is a company. Please take note of your behavior. Ingrid looked Cora up and down. With her hands on her hips, she pointed at Cora's nose and scolded, Ha! Little who SSY, who do you think you are? How dare you tell me how to act? Do you know, the Haynes group belongs to the Haynes family. Sooner or later, it will return to the Haynes family. That DMN by TCH shamelessly seized it from us and is occupying what is rightfully ours. Where's that DAMNBH Joanna? Hurry up and get her to come out. I will tell the world her misdeeds today and let everyone see how she seduces men. Cora couldn't stop Ingrid and quickly called for security. Chapter 76. A few security guards hurriedly went upstairs. Meanwhile, Bruce had eagerly pinned Joanna down in the office and attempted to conquer her again. But he was so shocked when he heard the commotion caused by Ingrid that he frowned and stopped his actions. He had also heard all of Ingrid's insults. Joanna sneered and looked at Bruce coldly. Let go of me. Your mother-in-law is here. What else do you want from me? Haven't you put me through enough? Bruce listened and stared deeply into Joanna's eyes. In the past, her eyes were clear, like a resplendent galaxy. But now, her eyes were filled with numbness and exhaustion. Joanne, don't be afraid. I'm here. Ha! It's because of you that I have to suffer the insults of so many people. 6 years ago, everyone in Greyport was insulting her. They were even worse than whatever Ingrid was spewing now. The online abuse back then almost drove her to suicide. It was also then that her depression started to worsen. Joanne, I'm sorry. What's the point of saying this? I beg you, stop pestering me. I'm scared. I don't want to be insulted anymore. Ignore them. Let them throw their insults. After saying that, Bruce lowered his head and kissed Joanna's lips deeply. In the meantime, Ingrid and her 4 accomplices had already aggressively barged into the office's entrance. The security guards had also rushed over. You can't enter the office. Leave the Haynes group now. Ingrid sneered, put her hands on her hips, and shouted, let's see who dares to stop me. That's right. This is Mrs. Haynes. She's the real boss of the Haynes group. Ah, you guys blind. How dare you stop Mrs. Haynes? Although Ingrid's 4 accomplices were middle-aged, they had all maintained good figures and were dressed in bright, revealing clothes. The few of them pinched and hit the security guards, who dared not hit back. Let's go to the office and find that da MN by TCH. The 5 of them walked towards the office aggressively. Joanna, da MNB. Itch, get out here. Bang. Ingrid pushed the door open. In the office, Bruce sat upright and frowned slightly as he looked arrogantly at the women who had barged in. Upon seeing Bruce, Ingrid swallowed the curse words about to come out of her mouth. She quickly retracted her shrewish attitude and said sourly, oh, Bruce, you're here too. What are you doing? Ingrid took a deep breath and glanced sideways at Joanna. Joanna sat behind her desk with a cold expression. Bruce, you are about to get married to Roxy. What are you doing now? Bruce raised his eyebrows slightly. Need I report to you what I do? Send GIF. Bruce's voice was not loud, but it exuded a pressure that made people breathless. Ingrid's face turned pale. She pursed her lips as a look of discomfort crept up her face. To put it bluntly, she dared not ask if Bruce went out to find other women. Given the current situation, it would already be a miracle if Bruce went ahead and married Roxanne as scheduled. If Bruce cancelled the wedding, their family would really become the laughingstock of Greyport. Ingrid dared to cause trouble for Joanna, but not Bruce. Bruce, that's not what I meant. Bruce crossed his long legs and leaned against the sofa with a deep frown. Then what did you mean? Ingrid quickly thought and answered, I meant you were about to get married. So you should spend more time with Roxy. Why do you keep finding Joanna when you are free? People will gossip. Bruce sneered. His hawk-like eyes blinked, and a menacing aura flowed from him. Who's gossiping? What gossip? Well, didn't you see the news online? Everyone is spreading nasty gossip. Does their gossip sound as nasty as your insults just now? Ingrid, choked and tongue-tied, replied, no, Bruce, I was angry just now. So the words I spoke were unpleasant. I just hope that everything is fine between you and Roxy. Roxy is simple-minded and can be stubborn sometimes. You know what happened last time. Roxy almost lost her life. What if something like that happens again? Bruce frowned and, without looking up, said, you are using the same trick again. It won't work if you use it too much. Since I've agreed to marry Roxy, I won't go back on my word. As for my personal matters, I don't want anyone to interfere. Feeling like her heart was in her throat, Ingrid gulped. She was afraid of offending this wealthy son-in-law of hers. I didn't mean to interfere in your personal matters. It's just that. Before Ingrid could finish her sentence, Bruce stood up. I'm working now. If you have nothing else to say, hurry up and return home. If you dare return to the Haynes group and cause trouble for Joanna again, I'll make sure the Haynes family regrets it. Ingrid's heart skipped a beat when she heard this. Bruce was increasingly disdainful of them. However, besides swallowing her anger, Ingrid could not do anything else. The other women quickly pulled Ingrid out. Let's go. Let's go back first. Ingrid was choked with anger. Her eyes were like knives as she viciously glared at Joanna. Ads by Pub Future. Joanna, you're Roxanne's elder sister. No matter what, you should know your limits. Don't constantly think about taking. Chapter 77. Your sister's things for yourself. I don't dare to control you, but your father has heart disease and high blood pressure. If anything happens to him, you'll regret it. Ingrid turned around angrily and left after she finished speaking. The 5 women had just reached the elevator when the elevator door happened to open. Jaden hurried out of the elevator. Ingrid became even more furious when she saw Jaden. Mr. Grimm, you're finally here. Hurry up and get a grip on your girlfriend. Don't let her go around seducing other people's men. Don't you feel cuckolded? Jaden's handsome face instantly darkened when he heard this. He ignored Ingrid and hurriedly walked toward Joanna's office. The employees were still watching the spectacle unfold and were whispering to each other. Wow, Mr. Grimm is here too. Something exciting is going to unfold. Do you think Mr. Grimm and Mr. Everett will fight when they meet? It's possible. Wow, wow, wow. It'll be like watching 2 titans fighting. It's so lively in the office today. We've been blessed with so much drama recently. Cora reprimanded the employees with a cold expression when she heard this. Go back to your jobs and stop gawking. Whoever continues gossiping will be punished. When they heard this, the employees did not dare to gossip anymore and quickly returned to their work cubicles. There were more than 1,000 employees in the Haynes group. Even the office workers in the same office building as Joanna amounted to a few dozen. Meanwhile, in the office, Joanne, everything's fine. I've already warned Ingrid. She won't dare to cause trouble again. Joanna leaned against the desk and weakly ran her fingers through her hair. Bruce, my heart is weary. Can you stay away from me? Bruce took her by the shoulders and nuzzled his chin against her hair. I'll look after you no matter what happens. What else are you worried about? Joanna suddenly raised her head and screamed at the top of her lungs. I simply don't want anything to do with you now, do you? Understand? Bruce looked back at her calmly. After a few seconds, he answered, I know you still love me. Why do you have to reject me like this? If you are trying to play hard to get, it won't work on me. Joanna became even more furious when she heard this and slammed her fists on the table several times. I don't love you. I haven't loved you for a long time now. Since the day of our divorce, I have stopped loving you. 7/16 Thursday. Chapter 77. I am begging you, stop being so narcissistic. If you don't love me, you wouldn't have had such a big reaction to me when I touched you. Your body can't fool anyone. Joanna was so enraged when she heard this that her entire body trembled. A difficult and cruel man like Bruce would never stop until he achieved his goal. No woman could remain calm when being pestered by a man like him. You crazy bastard. Stop talking, Joanna. Stop lying to yourself. After saying that, Bruce wrapped his arms tightly around her waist again. Let go of me, don't touch me. The two were entangled in a scuffle when the office door was pushed open again. Joanne. Jaden was stunned when he saw the scene before him. Joanna turned around and saw that it was Jaden. Her face turned even paler. Jay, why are you here? Joanna struggled violently against Bruce after saying that. Unfortunately, he had firmly trapped her in his arms. She could not break free at all. HMPH. Jaden, what are you doing here? Bruce sneered and left the table side. Like an eagle with a chick in its claws, he pulled Joanna along with him in his arms. Bruce, let go of Joanne. Bruce raised his eyebrows slightly and looked at Jaden cruelly. I've told you before, if you continue to pester Joanna, I won't. Remain polite. Jaden walked over to them with a cold expression on his face. Let go of her quickly. Otherwise, I won't remain polite too. Joanna has already slept with me and agreed to be my woman. Are you sure you still want to fight with me for her? Joanne, is it true? Joanna gasped and closed her eyes in agony. Bruce, that's enough. I've had enough of you. I'm telling you now that the person I love is Jay. The children are also Jay's. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. Bruce's eyes turned cold when he heard this. I don't believe you. Jay and I were childhood sweethearts. We've been in love for a long time, and he's 100 times better than you. Joanna could only lie to Bruce as she did not want him to continue pestering her. With a terrifying expression on his face, Bruce stared at Joanna. Joanna, don't talk nonsense. You have to take responsibility for your words. Joanna pushed Bruce away and met his eyes angrily. TLL, take responsibility. And I am responsibly telling you now that the person I love has always been Jay. I only married you because you're the president of $1 billion consortium. I spent so much effort to set you up with myself because you're the wealthiest man in Greenport. My goal was to marry into the Everett family and make use of you. But I have no use for you now. I don't want to toy with you anymore. Please stop pestering me. Bruce clenched his fists. I don't believe it. You don't believe me. All right. I'll tell you today that the children are Jay's. If you still don't believe me, I'll show you the children's birth certificates and their paternity test results with Jay another day. Bruce felt his blood freeze when he heard this, and his eyes narrowed. Joanna, do you know what you are talking about? If the children were Jaden's, it meant Joanna had cheated on him when they were still married. This was a humiliation that Bruce could not swallow. Joanna held her breath and looked toward Jaden with pleading eyes. Jay, tell him. Jaden pondered for a few seconds before calmly meeting Bruce's eyes. Yes, the children are mine and Joanne's. I didn't announce this to the public because I was afraid of the repercussions it would cause. There's no need to hide the truth from you anymore since you keep misunderstanding the children's parentage, Mr. Everett. Bruce took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. Frowning, he tried his best to control his anger. Joanna, I'll give you one last chance. I am serious in telling you now that the children are Jay's. I can show you the paternity test results and the children's birth ads by Pub Future certificates another day. I was already in love with Jay before I met you. Bruce stuttered and sneered. In other words, you still had contact with him while we were married. Joanna's eyes flickered for a moment. In the end, she nodded firmly. Yes, her confirmation was enough to anger Bruce regardless of whether it was true. Slap. The crisp sound of a slap rang through the air. Bruce had slapped Joanna. He had not held back and had given her a tight slap. Joanna lost her balance and staggered. Fortunately, Jaden reacted quickly and caught her in time. Bruce, how can you consider yourself a man? Malice and anger were overflowing from Bruce. He stared at Joanna threateningly. Joanna, I'll make sure you regret this. 016th through. Chapter 78. With that, Bruce slammed the door behind him and left with a cold expression. Joanna slumped limply onto the ground after Bruce left. It was as if she had been sucked off all her energy. Joanne Layden quickly got down on his knees and hugged her. Joanna leaned weakly in Jaden's arms and cried out loudly. Jay, it's alright. It's alright. I'll stand by your side no matter what happens. Jay, I can't do this anymore. Jaden tightened his grip and comforted her gently. Joanne, don't hold on anymore if you can't. If things don't work out, I'll take you away from Greenport. We'll go back to Surbano. Joanna hugged Jaden and cried bitterly when she heard this. Meanwhile, in the parking lot. Screech. Bruce had started his car. The Aston Martin swerved around like a wild beast that had lost control. Bruce then suddenly drifted the car and charged it out of the garage. The chauffeur in the passenger seat was scared out of his wits and hurriedly grabbed the side handles. Mr. Everett, why don't I drive instead? Bruce did not answer and turned the steering wheel fiercely. The wheels of the car drifted again and rushed into the traffic. Bruce was vexed and only felt better when venting his irritation by speeding. However, this greatly frightened the chauffeur. Bruce initially did not believe Joanna when she said the children belonged to Jaden. However, he was half convinced when she said she would show him the children's birth certificates and paternity test results. If Joanna's statement was true, she had cheated on him with Jaden during their marriage. With his personality, Bruce could not accept such a betrayal. Joanna, I didn't expect you to dare lie to me. I'll make you regret it. Bruce cursed and slammed on the steering wheel hard. The car tilted to the side and nearly flipped over. Mr. Everett, be careful. There's a red light ahead. The chauffeur's face turned white from the fear that Bruce had run a red light. Bruce had just got into a car accident last month and had crashed his car into the sea. It had only been a month, and he was driving recklessly again. If Margaret found out, she would fire all the chauffeurs. The chauffeur was so frightened when he saw the intersection that he closed his eyes. He thought that Bruce was going to drive through it without a care. 7:16 Thursday the 22nd of June. Chapter 78. Unexpectedly, Bruce suddenly stepped on the brakes. The car came to a halting stop. The huge force made the two of them fly forward. Thankfully, they were locked back into their seats by the seatbelts. The chauffeur was scared out of his wits. At that moment, he wanted nothing more than to jump out of the car. Mr. Everett. The chauffeur was trembling with fear. Shut up. The chauffeur was so frightened that he did not dare to speak anymore. He knew Bruce's temper and could only silently pray they remained safe. Margaret called as soon as Bruce returned home. Bruce frowned but still picked up the call. Hello, Grandma. Margaret's voice sounded from the other end of the line. Bruce, come and have dinner tonight with me. Grandma, I'm a little tired today. Can we do it another day? Margaret pondered briefly before earnestly advising, Bruce, I don't want to interfere in your personal matters. But you have to think of potential repercussions. Don't act recklessly. Since you are preparing to marry the Haynes family's second daughter, don't get too involved with their eldest daughter. Otherwise, people will gossip, negatively affecting the Everett group. Margaret had also seen the pictures of Bruce and Joanna kissing passionately at the airport. After all, the Everett family was the wealthiest family in Greenport. Every move of theirs was bound to be eye-catching, so many things had to be considered when they acted. Although Margaret did not like Roxanne, she was a person who valued promises. Her word given was as good as done. Since she had promised the Haynes family that Bruce would marry Roxanne, Margaret would not allow Bruce to fool around. Outside, Bruce took a deep breath. Got it, Grandma. I asked you to bring Joanna's children back so I could look at them. It's been so long. Why haven't you brought the children back yet? Speaking of Joanna, Bruce's heart flared with anger. He pursed his lips. She said that the children don't belong to the Everett family. There's no need for you to take a look at the children, Grandma. Margaret fell silent on the other end of the phone. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up first. I'll go back and eat with you this weekend, Grandma. All right. After hanging up, Bruce let out a long sigh of relief and lit a cigarette. He was still doubtful of Joanna's words. However, he was furious at her attitude. When he thought of the ambiguous relationship between her and Jaden, his heart adds bipub future tightened even more. A Rolls-Royce pulled up in front of the Haynes group's entrance the next day. Margaret had come to see Joanna personally. Chapter 79. In the office, Joanna was surprised to see that Margaret had come down personally. She quickly stood up to welcome Margaret and greeted her politely and respectfully. Hello, Grandma. Why are you here? Margaret was wearing a retro dress and round framed glasses with a chain on the bridge of her nose. On her neck and wrist was an emerald set of jewelry. She looked elegant and noble. Joanne, it's been a long time. How have you been? Joanna paused and answered, Oh, I'm fine. Grandma, why are you here today? Margaret was a supporter when she and Bruce got married 6 years ago. She had treated Joanna well during Joanna's 2 years of marriage with Bruce. Therefore, Joanna also respected Margaret and habitually called her Grandma. Margaret sat down on the sofa and looked at Joanna in a dignified yet kindly manner. I came here today to see you. Oh, please have some tea, Grandma. No, thank you. Take a seat. Margaret smiled calmly, indicating that Joanna need not be nervous. Margaret was the guest, but the aura she exuded inadvertently suppressed that of Joanna's. Still uneasy, Joanna sat down on the other end of the sofa. Grandma, please speak if you have something to say. Margaret paused for a few seconds and smiled kindly. I wanted to ask about the children. Grandma, I've already made things very clear to Mr. Everett about the children. Margaret's eyelids drooped as she quietly stared at Joanna. Her eyes were kind and amiable but seemed to be able to cut through hearts and minds when she stared at people. Joanna, this is no small matter. If the children belong to the Everett family, we will take responsibility. Joanna pursed her lips. I'm sorry, I think you've misunderstood, Grandma. My children do not belong to the Everett family. I intend to find out whether it's true or not. What do you want to do? Bring the children here, and let me see them. I will take the children for a paternity test with Bruce. If they are not of the Everett family. Joanna interrupted Margaret. I'm sorry, but they are my children. You have no right to take my children away. Oh, no, I won't take your children away. I'm also a woman. I know how protective a mother is of her children. Even if the children are of the Everett family, I will not snatch them away from you. You can rest assured about this. But if you insist on disagreeing, I will think of other ways. Margaret was always polite unless she had to resort to force. Her gentle words carried a chilling threat. Joanna frowned slightly and pondered for a few seconds. In that case, I'll show you something, Grandma. 7:16 Thursday, 22. Chapter 79. Please give me a moment, Grandma. With that, Joanna went straight to a corner of the office. Then, she opened the safe and took out a folder. Grandma, you can take a look at this. Joanna handed the folder to Margaret. Margaret eyed Joanna suspiciously. What is this? These are my children's birth certificates from the hospital and their paternity test results. Margaret opened the folder when she heard this. Inside the folder were two documents embossed with steel stamps. One was the children's birth certificates with the hospital seal. Jaden's name was in the father's columns. The other was the paternity test results. It showed that the probability of paternity between the three children and Jaden was 99%. In other words, Jaden and the three children were biologically related. After looking at the two documents, Margaret adjusted her glasses, and a hint of disappointment crept up her face. You can take these certificates to any institution for appraisal, Grandma. They are authentic and valid. So please stop suspecting that the children are of the Everett family, Grandma. Joanna had spent a lot of money to get someone to fake these two certificates. Even the children's birth dates were deliberately pushed back by 3 months. After a while, Margaret finally came back to her sense. In that case, sorry to disturb you. Margaret stood up and prepared to leave as she spoke. It's all right, as long as the misunderstanding is cleared up. Margaret walked toward the office door. When she reached it, she suddenly stopped. I still want to give you a reminder. Please go ahead, Grandma. You and Bruce have a past. But Bruce is going to marry your sister soon. However you put it, this matter reflects negatively on all of us. I hope you will distance yourself from Bruce. Joanna chuckled and replied coldly, Grandma, you've misunderstood. I've never wanted anything to do with Mr. Everett. As long as he can maintain distance, I will not disturb his life. Also, I hope you can advise Mr. Everett, Grandma. Tell him not to suppress and disrupt the normal operation of the Haynes Group. 07162-22. Margaret was a proud person. Naturally, she understood what Joanna meant. Margaret knew her grandson's personality well. As for Joanna, she could tell that Joanna was a strong and proud person from the words she spoke. Some things were probably Bruce's fault. Margaret looked back at Joanna kindly. Don't worry, I will advise Bruce. No matter what, the Haynes Group is your grandfather's hard work. I don't wish for the Haynes Group to suffer any negative impact too. Thank you, Grandma. Goodbye. Goodbye, Grandma. Joanna personally sent Margaret downstairs. Joanna heaved a long sigh of relief once she had sent Margaret away. She could not help but feel a little nervous and prayed that Margaret could manage Bruce. Joanna was confident she could manage the Haynes Group well as long as Bruce did not play any tricks behind her back. Bruce returned to the Everett mansion as promised over the weekend. He would go back for dinner with his grandma every weekend on time. Bruce pretended to be nonchalant during dinner time. Grandma, I heard that you went to see Joanna. Yes, Margaret replied calmly. Seeing that Margaret did not continue, Bruce couldn't help but ask after a while. And that's all. Oh, Bruce gently took a sip of the ginseng soup. His eyes were unfocused. Margaret suddenly sighed after checking her grandson's reaction. The children are not of the Everett family. In the future, don't make things difficult for Joanna. Ads by Pub Future. Bruce's heart tightened when he heard this. The spoon in his hand fell into the bowl, generating a crisp, ringing sound. How did you know, Grandma? Margaret put down the cutlery in her hand. Joanna showed me the children's birth certificates and paternity test results. I have checked. The certificates are real. So, the children are not of the Everett family. Bruce instantly felt the blood rushing to his head and a hint of hatred gathered in his eyes. Joanna had cheated on him during their marriage. Bruce could not take it anymore. He fervently wished that he could settle the score with Joanna right then. Margaret observed her grandson's reaction and continued, in business, we prioritize benefits. Even more important is Chapter 80. Keeping Promises. The Everett family has reached where we are today because we kept our promises. Other than keeping promises, it is also vital To be magnanimous. The Haynes Group was Raymond Haynes' life's work. When your grandfather illegally immigrated to Greenport, he was without relatives and at wit's end. It was Raymond who took your grandfather in. He also helped your grandfather get through the most challenging times. As a person, you can't forget your roots. You must remember them. I don't want to see the Haynes Group destroyed. The country had yet to undergo reformation and open up in the 1960s and the 1970s. Many people had gone south, illegally migrating from Porish and the surrounding areas into Greenport, which was not yet part of the country, looking for gold. Bruce's grandfather was one of those people. At that time, Greenport was particularly cruel to illegal immigrants. Women were directly sold into prostitution when caught by human traffickers, while men were beaten to death and thrown into the sea. Raymond was one of Greenport's locals and had taken in Bruce's grandfather, who had just arrived in Greenport. After more than 40 years of hard work, the Everett family had become the wealthiest family in Greenport. Therefore, after they prospered, the Everett family took care of the Haynes family, who, under the former's help, also entered the circle of the rich. I advise you to be magnanimous when settling the matter between yourself and Joanna. She is a woman already having a hard time raising 3 children alone. I don't want you to interfere with the Haynes Group's business anymore, and you are not allowed to suppress the Haynes Group. Secretly, Bruce was silent for a few seconds after hearing this. I understand, Grandma. Having finished her dinner, Margaret stood up and prepared to leave the dining room. You are getting engaged to the Haynes family's second daughter next month. Stop fooling around outside. Since things have come to this, you should get married as soon as possible. You're not young anymore. It's about time you gave me a great-grandson to dote on. I don't have many years left to live at my age. Before I die, my only wish is to have a great-grandson. Bruce felt upset when he heard this. You will definitely live to be 100 years old, Grandma. Forget a great-grandson. You'll live to carry a great-great-grandson. Don't be cheeky. Call Mr. Haynes and Mrs. Haynes over someday to discuss the engagement. You make the arrangements, Grandma. Margaret snorted and said dotingly, I will help you make the arrangements this time. Don't make any more mistakes. All right. Margaret called Sean in the evening and invited him and Ingrid to discuss marriage plans. Ingrid was so happy that she could not close her mouth from smiling after receiving the call. That's great. Margaret called us personally and invited your father and me to discuss the engagement. 7:16 Thursday the 22nd of June. Chapter 80. Oh my, thank heavens. This marriage is finally on the agenda. Roxy, you must do well this time. Roxanne listened from the side. Although she smiled, her heart was filled with sorrow. She could feel that Bruce no longer had any love for her. If she married him, she would probably only gain the coveted status of Mrs. Everett.